Friday, February 2nd. Happy Groundhog Day. We're going to be talking a whole lot about Let's see. May not need. We'll have to see here in a moment. Camp Tecumseh's, we're going to have a bunch. That's where your white paper comes in. We'll talk more about that more to Monday. I'll go over more stuff then. For now, you're going to want to turn it over, and that's where you can write questions, because I will not answer any of your questions until the end. And you're going to have questions. That's where you're going to want to write them down to make your life easier. Because every time you raise your hand, I'm just going to go write it down, and you're going to go, "Arr!" and we get a chance to talk. Those of you who just turned it in, I will update it here in a moment. Those of you who have done it, well done. They did have a small change. They are really pushing rec letters have to be turned in by Tuesday. They have to be in by then. Apparently there were a lot of issues with last year's kids turning them in and taking forever and having problems, so you are going to need to start tracking down those people. If they are taking too long, you may need to get a backup person. If you want to know if yours has been turned in, you're going to have to email Mr. Henderson. He is the one that has the list of all of them. So that is who you will contact to find out if yours has been turned in. I do not know. They all go to him. But again, I would say Tuesday is when you want to have them in by. Kyle.
Can I email them right now?
Sure. Yes.
Just a question.
Good question. Other than that, those of you still on the list, hopefully good. I'll check with you guys Monday.
Can I email to you?
Yes, that's
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So I was talking to the kid from last year, yesterday myself, and he said that you weren't allowed to use somebody from the staff.
Correct. That's remember we said we changed all this stuff? This is all this changes.
Okay.
So you're right. Last year they could not. This year we completely redid the whole application process. Because we had issues with kids before, so we're trying to change it to work a little bit better. So that was one of the big changes. Those of you who have the IXL, again, so Tuesday of next week, I've updated thing over here. You will be taking the second round of the grammar quiz while we are doing speeches, and then you get a chance to rejoin us for speeches. Those of you with the did well on it, I will hand you back your quiz on Monday, and then you can take picture to submit it, and then it is due Tuesday evening on that one. First and last name on it. Put it face down on my little calendar. There you go. Well done. And welcome back. All right. And then I think we're good to go from there. No questions IXL-wise. Let's get to the fun. So here, hi Reed. You can shut it, that's fine. Let's talk about Camp Tecumseh-y things that you may not know much about. If you've had siblings who had a chance to go, that's great. Problem is, some of your older siblings may have been during the 2 dead years, because we didn't get to go in 2020 or 2021, but we did get a chance to go in 22 or 23. So if you had older siblings that were 7th graders in 2020 and 2021, they didn't get a chance to go, which is a bit of a bummer. I think it is the sophomores and juniors that are currently at the high school. So there is now a Camp Tecumseh info page that is on Canvas. This is why you have iPad. If you want to go check it, to go find this information, I'll show you pictures of it. If you don't want to look, that's fine. This is a lot of it is for your parents. If your parents have questions and you go, I don't know, point them here. Now, if your answer is, Mr. Broviak, my parents can't get on my Canvas, this actually links to my website. So it'll just take them straight to my website, mrbroviak.com, because now I figure that way parents can access it. There are videos on there. After today, this video will be on there. But right now, it's last year's video. If you want to see me with short red hair, you can go on there and see me talking last year when I had short red hair. And then also, it'll be from last year when I did the parent talk, which we're doing next Tuesday. And I will update that after Tuesday when we get a chance to talk to parents. Scrolling down from there, there is a button that is going to have a link if you still need to turn in your permission slip. I have a list of everybody who has turned in permission slips, and I'll be telling you that on Monday. It'll also have a link if your parents want to join us, for if they want to go. It has a parent permission slip also, and we can help them out with that. It also has a packing list, so if you want to know what you're supposed to bring. It also has an info book with a whole bunch of stuff about it, dietary needs. It has a thing where it tells JoYo to make sure you write down your question, because you're not going to get called on for a while, and it covers all of that stuff for you as far as that goes. But anytime parents ask, I'm just going to send them here and say, this should answer most stuff for you. All right. Today is one to inform you, because most of you have no idea what Camp Tecumseh is. And then also answer parent questions in case they have it. All they know for now is they get to get rid of you for 3 days. And for some parents, that was enough. And they're like, only 3? Done. And so here's where we get to tell you a bit more about why we're stealing you for 3 days. But again, so I can pack in so much information, I wait till the end for questions. Plus, I answer most of your questions while I talk. All right. So it does not happen until April. So the first week of April is spring break. We come back for a week of school, and then we leave Monday the 15th, and we're at Camp Tecumseh for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The Globetrotters leave Wednesday, and they're gone until Friday. So you will not see any Globetrotter that whole week from Monday to Friday. Stars are split. Half of them go with us, half of them go with Globetrotters. If a star's last name is A through H, they go with us. If their last name is I through Z, they go with the Globetrotters. So we split it that way. You do get to have influence on who is going to be in your group. And I will talk more about this on Monday too. It is currently active. You are going to want to follow directions, but you get to list friends that you want to have in your groups. I am in control of everything that involves you at camp. Who's in your groups, who's at your table, who's in your cabin, who's on the bus, who's your camp counselor. I control all of that. And I don't hate you. I want to give you a friend. I want you to have fun at camp. The best way for you to have fun at camp is to put a friend in your group. So this is where you get to tell me up to 4 of your BFFFs that you would like to have in your group. My goal is to give you 1 of those people in your group. Now, it doesn't always work out best. You're going to have to, and here's where it gets scary, rank your friends from mostest friend to not as mostest friend. Because whoever you rank in the number 1 spot, that tells me this is the kid that you will die for that you want to have in your group. Number 2 is the next best one. Number 3, number 4. Now, no one will ever see this but you and me. So you can tell your friends whatever you want. You can tell 8 of your friends that they're your number 1, and they will have no idea because they will never get a chance to see whatever it is. So you're going to have to rank them as you go through. Paper for me?
No.
Oh, never mind.
You shouldn't go.
Trying to see who. Oh, that kid? No. I mean, he's a great kid, but it's not like I have to.
Okay. I'll look at the numbers.
Okay. Not.
I mean, some of them I know at this point come in and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But no, that is not one of those. That's just a solid one.
thank you.
So you will be turning this in. You need to know if your friend is a hero or if they are a star. If they're a globetrotter and you list them, well, you're kind of an idiot. I'm going to make fun of you. If they are a star whose last name is I through Z and you list them, you're kind of an idiot. I'm going to make fun of you. But for the rest of that, you're just going to have to go through there and rank them. Then my goal is I will try to give you that number 1 friend in whatever I can. If it doesn't work out, I go to your number 2 friend. If that doesn't work out, I go number 3 and so forth. Your friend also has to list you. So, if me and Alex are wanting to be in a group together, I have to list Alex as number 1, and Alex lists me as number 1. If not, then it doesn't work out as well. If I put Alex as my number 1, and he puts me as not on his list, we're not in a group together. Because I have kids all the time who will just look around like, I want that kid, and that kid, and that kid, and I want to be in their group. But if they don't list you, then you're just being creepy and you're out of luck. So you have to list each other. This is where it gets kind of tough, and you're going to have to talk to people, and that's how we'll get into that next week. I mean, if you know who your friends are and you want to list them, you can go on it. It's on Socrative, room name Kyborb, as always, and then just follow the directions from there. Oh. Also, those of you who are gooder kids, I give you more kids from your list. The gooder you are, the more gooder choices you've made, the better chance you get 2 kids from your list, or 3 kids from your list. If you're honor society, there's a good chance it gets closer to the 2, 3, even 4 kids from your list. Because my goal is to make good, strong groups. If you end up getting into a group in your honor society and all 4 of your friends are listed, go you. But that also means I have to put turd kids in groups too. Turd kids also go to Camp Tecumseh. And those kids who make lots of poor choices have to get put into a group. I'm going to put them into a group of a whole bunch of Honor Society kids. So if you see a whole bunch of your friends in a group, then you should probably go, uh-oh, who's the other kid that's going to be in there? Because you're going to get a special one. It does cost $150 to get rid of you for 3 days because it includes everything. It's an all-inclusive resort. The food is paid for, the trip is paid for, all the people are paid for. They get to get rid of you for $150 and it's great. The money is not due till Tuesday, March 26th, which is right before spring break. Literally before you guys dip for break, you're going to have to make sure it's turned in by then. I have a list of everyone who's turned in stuff. I can always tell you, Gesundheit. And we'll talk more about that Monday. We do take parent chaperones. That's what Mr. Stump was in here talking about. If your parents go, you see them only at meals and at nighttime, and that is it. They are not with you during the day. They are going. We have parents in cabins at night because in case like a wild possum gets in there and you're running around screaming and you're like, possum! Then the parent is in there to hit it with a broom and chase it out. So that's why they're there. You also are going to have parents at your meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so that way they can answer questions and help you guys out and stuff like that. During the day, it is you, your friends, and a high school kid going and walking through the woods. Parents do not get to follow you. They're not out there with you. They're off, I don't know, fishing or reading a book or banging their head against a tree or whatever adults do. So they're only there at meals and at night, and that is it. What is it? Well, there's this saying that kids keep doing called touch grass, and apparently a lot of kids haven't actually done it. So here's where you get a chance to go out and actually touch it and go, ooh, it's so soft and furry. And you get a chance to be out there and running around in the woods. Honestly, it's just a chance for you guys to have fun. It's a field trip where you get to just run around with other kids and enjoy life. You do learn, but it's not school learning. You don't sit at a desk the entire time you're there. You are going to do social studies and science and math, but not sitting in a classroom. You're going to do social studies, and we're going to give you a map and say, don't get lost, and that's social studies. We're going to have you do math because you have to race each other down a hill to figure out your velocity, and you have to sort of measure stuff like that. You're going to do English because you're going to write about that one time you saw a kid get attacked by a possum in his cabin. How did that impact you, and what happened with that possum? And so we work the stuff in, but it's not like sitting, like we don't talk about grammar. There's no quadratic formulas. It's none of that stuff. There's learning, but it's not the type of learning you do here. But we have to, do learning because it's school. We just get to be creative. And so it's this huge 224-acre area. There's hills and valleys and mountains and woods and animals and all that kind of good stuff.
And yummy.
Ponds and rivers and lakes.
And ticks.
Actually, we've never had a tick. We've had some insects. We go in the early spring where the bugs are out there. So really, we get fairly lucky. There's very few spiders or bugs, mosquitoes. Like none of that stuff really becomes a big issue. You are going to be in a group of kids between 5 and 10 kids. Mixed gender, both dudes and chicks, just sort of depends. In the cabins, one gender. But in your groups throughout the day, you get both. At your meals, you get both. And you're going to be about 5 to 10 kids in each group. What do we do? A lot. So you're going to be out there running around in a group. Yeah, I went through there and updated it with some pictures from some 8th graders. As we go through, next year I'm going to update it with pictures of you guys. And so you get a chance to sort of update it with the pictures and stuff like that. And so you're hanging out in the woods, running around. You're going to find these little tables. That's like where you do your work. Like that's your desk when you sit down and do studying stuff. There is science, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that we do that's science-y, but it's only technically science-y. Like you get to pretend to be a lumberjack for part of it, and you get to measure how far around trees are. If you were to cut the trees down, how much would go into it. You get to figure out how water would keep people alive, and you have to measure water flow. I don't know, science stuff. There's math, but a lot of it is just figuring out the math that goes into the science to figure out like how fast when you're racing your friend down this black hole, which is like a sled you take down a tube. You have to like measure how fast you're going and figure out velocity and stuff like that. And so there is learning. It's just not the kind of learning you've probably ever done before. So there are activities we're going to be doing while you are there that is not just the learning stuff. You are going to get a chance to go out and do canoeing. We canoe in all weather. It's Indiana. Some years it's 80 degrees. Some years it's snowing. When it snows, we still canoe. You just go out there and you get to pull the snow out of your canoe and throw it to the side and go sliding across the ice. And it's great. There's no ice because it's like a big old lake. But you do get to go out there and do canoeing. You get to wear the little life jackets. If you're aquaphobic and you're afraid of water, you don't have to. You can sit on the side and watch other people do the canoeing and just sit there and watch them. You just sort of miss out on the activities. You do get to pick who you canoe with. It's someone from your group. So you picked who's in your group, so you get to go out there. Do we have kids that fall into the water? Is your question is, do we have kids that are idiots? You know the answer to that. Does it happen often? No, not very often. But it has happened, and then you just have to walk around squishy all day. So you just have to be careful from there. This is the black hole, which is where you get to sled down these giant tubes. There's one here and then one next to it, and you can sort of race each other down these tubes, and they sort of let out to this bottom area. You get to go on a sled because we get to learn about science, where you have friction, and the sled makes you go faster because it cuts down on friction, and we get to go science, check mark. And so you have stuff like that as you get a chance to go do it. So you're going to be doing a hot air balloon flying from here. And so you're building a hot air balloon. You're not going up in a hot air balloon. But you and your group get together, and we have like this giant tubey thing that shoots out flames from the whole thing. And you get to fly, and you get to run around and like flappy flap, and you get to make the balloon fly. Sometimes they get caught up here in the trees. Because we have to use fire to launch them at the big heat thing, sometimes there are bad parts that happen to it. We try not to have that happen too often. We usually don't hit kids with the giant flaming balls of death, but you don't hit the good kids. So you will be building one of those and shooting them up into the air. You're going to get a chance to do rock climbing, and they have this outdoor thing called Mount Wood, where it's like this giant mountain climbing wall. You get a chance to go up on that one. Here's one of the balloons as it flew past them, and we got a picture of the balloon as it just missed the kids up there climbing. But you're always welcome to try to hit the kids climbing because that makes things fun. I have also found out that it is not the tall kids that are good at climbing. It is the short squirrel kids. It is the shorter and more gymnastic-y you are, they fire up that thing like a crazy little chipmunk, and it's amazing. Over here, it's hard to see it behind the D, but they have a chocolate owl that they have at the top.
Yummy.
And if you're a kid that can up to the top, there's a little thing you ledge, you get your picture taken up there, you get to break off a piece of the chocolate owl, and then you get to be all braggy. We do square dancing on one of the nights, which sounds kind of intimidating, and it scared me the first time, but you had to realize really square dancing is basically a bunch of organized Fortnite dances. And so we do like a big worm dancing thing. If you've seen any of the 8th graders, the high school kids, they're going to talk about Cotton Eye Joe and do the This is where the Cotton Eye Joe becomes all big and popular, and we do like a big this is us doing all the Cotton Eye Joe in a giant group. We have organized dances that there we go. Dances, and we do like a YMCA dance. We take pictures and we scream. And so that is Jordan Woo, who's right up there in the front screaming, woo! And so again, this was a picture from last year. That's Jehovah's. He was falling on top of somebody. And so
Sam.
And then there's Sam. So anyway, we do a whole bunch of dancing, and so you'll see them right there in the front dancing. And so that's one of the nights we get to do. We also have a professional storyteller who comes in on the first night, and we sit around and he has like all these things he brings in and does like professional storytelling. The next night, instead of professional storytelling, your teachers and all of the high school kids put on skits where we get to go through and entertain you with all of our skits and stuff like that. And so, is that a dummy? No, it is. It's a kid. So you're not wrong. Just probably not the dummy that you're thinking about.
Wait, where are you?
I can't tell you that. You'll find out. So we do a lot in 3 days. It's a 2-hour trip up. We leave Monday morning, get there right before lunch. We'll eat lunch there, and then we hike all afternoon Monday, and then we have dinner, and we have our activities in the night. Tuesday, all day hiking, except for the meals, and then at the nighttime we have our skits and activities. Wednesday morning, a bit more hiking and running around, and then we come home Wednesday, and you get to crash and go sleepy sleep. And then life is all kinds of good. We pack in a ton in those 3 days you are up there.
Do we have school
All right.
Thursday?
So, is this school up there? Yes, technically. I mean, it counts as school. While we're up there, you are going to do learning. There's little desks and stuff like that. She wants you to write down the question because you asked one and I was ignoring you, so she was trying to help you out so you didn't forget it later. She was trying to be nice to you. So you're going to have like little tables like this. You have like a packet that you have that you're out there that has all the stuff so you don't lose it. Your counselor will keep track of it. You just sit around and work at these little. It's not always at tables. Sometimes you're sitting in a teepee. Sometimes you're sitting next to the fox den. Sometimes you're out in the middle of the woods. Sometimes you're next to a tree. It all depends on when you're hiking around and find a place. So at camp, it is school. Choices do come back to haunt you. Dr. Thorpe doesn't go to camp. Neither does Mr. Butts. They stay here to take care of the 8th graders who have all kinds of issues. Your guy that takes care of stuff at camp, that runs everything, is this guy. So this is who you have to worry about as the guy who is going to be your principal in control of your happiness there. And I know, I look like such a happy, friendly person. But you've heard talk about this Kyvorb and the horns thing, and that sometimes pops out at Camp Tecumseh, because I love Camp Tecumseh because I get to see kids having fun, and if you make poor kid choices there, I get to crush you. So there's a number of things I've had to do to be mean to kids. Now, I'll also tell you, this year, I'm not worried. I don't have kids on my team that I'm worried about. There may be stars that I have to crush, but I'm not super worried about heroes. But in the past, I've had turd kids who have had to go, and I've had turd kids we have to crush, because you get recess while we're there. Well, we call it rec time. But essentially you get to run around. They have like soccer, basketball, volleyball. They have a place they have a store that's open that sells like snacks and drinks in case you're like, I can't go without my caffeine. And they have that and shirts. You can just run around and talk. So there's like rec time while you're there, unless you make a poor kid choice. If you make a choice that makes me grumpy, we have what's called the Stump of Doom, which is in the middle of the field where all the kids get to run around and place, and you get to sit on the Stump of Doom while all the kids run around and make fun of you because you've made poor choices. It's not very often I have to put kids on the Stump of Doom, but I have been known to torture people. If you make really bad choices, we send you home, and we make your parents come pick you up and drive the 2 hours to get you and then drive the 2 hours back. If your parents can't drive up to get you, you're in luck. Mr. Modlin's up there. He's our person that drives people back. If you don't know who Mr. Modlin is, you should talk to one of the basketball players. They'll be happy to explain to you who Mr. Modlin is and how you don't want to be in a car with him for 2 hours after making a poor choice. But, you know, we all do our own. So hopefully if you make a poor choice, then your parents will come get you, and if not, he gets to help you. You will be with a high school counselor most of the time you are there. Your high school counselors are my past students who I had in 7th grade. They come back and apply to be counselors. It's not easy. You have to have good grades. You have to be a good kid. You have to interview. You have to beat out like 100 other kids to get that spot. So my counselors, I love them and I trust them. And I trust them over any one of you. No matter what you come and tell me they did, you can say they set me on fire and threw me into a creek. I'd be like, well, they probably had a good reason. So do not get into a fight with your counselor. I'm always going to trust them over you. And if you get in trouble at camp, you'll get in trouble here too. But again, I'm not worried about it this year. Do we take charter buses up to camp for that 2-hour drive? Yes. We managed to get our hands on this special deal. They're all colored yellow so that we can pick them out from all the other ones. But we managed to get a good deal on these buses that'll take us up there. It's great. We actually did try to get charter buses, comparison-wise, but there's not enough room on them because you guys have to pack all of your stuff, and these buses have a whole bunch of room underneath them to pack things. Because apparently, and you're going to find this shocking, girls pack a lot, and it becomes a bit of an issue. Now, when we go up to camp, boys, you're going to have a lot of room on your buses because most of you are going to bring a Ziploc bag that has all of your stuff. And so you have a lot of room. Girls, you're going to bring, or try to bring, until you find out the bad news in a moment, a whole bunch of big backpacks, and all of it goes on your lap. And so you're going to have no room to sit. Now the good news is, in a crash, girls are safe. It's like a giant pillow rolling down a hill. Boys, you're going to get flung around like popcorn. But on the drive, it's not going to be as comfortable. So yeah, we take the school buses up and the school buses back. It's 2 hours, but you're sitting with your friends. I put you on a bus with your friends. and you get to just sort of sit there and talk and babble and be all excited. And then on the bus ride home, you don't talk, you sleep. Trust me, you're going to be exhausted after being in the sun for 3 days. As soon as that bus goes, yeah, you're like, blah, and there's just drool everywhere. Can we wear hats? Yes. I recommend you wear hats. Some of you are not used to the outside. There's a thing up there called a sun. And when you're in the sun for 3 days, bits of you are going to get crispy. So I recommend you wear a hat to prevent the crispy bits. So yes, hats are absolutely fine. I highly recommend them. Dress code. Who's your principal? You. Right. So as far as dress code goes, as long as I don't look at you and go, "Blah!" when I see you, then we should be fine. But if I see a part of you that makes me go, ah, and I grab a stick and get it into my outfit, we're going to have issues. So for the most part, wear something that's not going to frighten me. If you see me go, hey, I have that same outfit, and you go, ah, that's not a good sign. So wear things that aren't going to make me have to yell at you. Like shoe-wise, I'll tell you now, you cannot wear slides or flip-flops or anything that is not a tennis shoe or a hiking shoe, unless you're in your cabin. In your cabin, that's fine. I don't care what you wear in there. But out on the woods and trails, you're going to have to actually wear normal shoes and stuff like that. Hopefully, clothes aren't going to get you. Does everyone go? No, but almost everyone does. First session, we have about 220 kids going between the heroes and 7th graders. Of those 220, I'm going to guess we'll have maybe 10 kids not go to it. The reasons to not go usually will come down to parents who are mad at their kid. We have kids who get in trouble and get grounded, and parents know Camp Tecumseh's fun, so they take Camp Tecumseh away from them to make them sit here. Sometimes it's a religious issue, which is fine. Can't really fight that. Sometimes kids just don't want to be away from home. We try to do our best to help you with that one. I try to make you as happy as possible, but we can't. And then every once in a while, there may be kids who get in trouble at school. We have no heroes who are in trouble enough for it to be a worry on that one. But other than that, almost every kid goes. Money is not a reason not to go. We have money that we can do. And so I'll be sitting like Tuesday when we have the parent meeting. If money is an issue for a family, your parents just have to contact me. I tell them how we take care of it, and you're good. We do not leave someone behind just because of money. If you're worried because you have an issue, have your parents talk to me. We've had kids with medical issues. We had a blind girl who went. Legit, we had a girl at our school who had a white cane and would walk down the hallways going tappy tappy. She went to camp, walking through the woods, just hitting trees with that cane, and it was great. If you've seen our 2 kids on the Stars team who have the wheelchairs, they're both going. We've had kids in wheelchairs. We had kids go who were allergic to grass, and they still went to Camp Tecumseh. We just had to figure out how not to have them lay in grass. So if there's an issue, just talk, and I will help you figure out how to ease you into it and help make it better. If you absolutely do not want to go, I'm not going to make you. It's like trying to force a kid to go to Kings Island. I'm not making you go. I want to give you the opportunity to go. If you don't go, you spend the 3 days here, and when you go down to Mrs. Melling's room, and she is the one that takes care, and you spend the 3 days in her room working on the same packet, just not in the woods. You're just sitting at a desk, and then sometimes you get to watch a video of a kid in the woods, and then you get to write down stuff about it. You do all the same work, you're just not at camp running around, you're just sitting here in her room. So, hopefully that helps you out. You don't pick your group, but you do get influence, and this is where the choices you've made this year impact how happy I am with you when I make your group. So the happier I am with you, the more of your kids are going to be in your group. Unfortunately, you don't find out any of who is in your group, cabin, or any of that until April, after spring break. Because I can't put kids into groups until they turn in permission slips. Until I know you're legally going, I can't put you in. And some kids, you'll be shocked to hear this, wait till the last minute to turn it in. So I have to wait till then. There's also this thing called teenage drama, which causes issues. I learned that the hard way the first time I started making groups. Because I have girls who are BFFFFs, and they put all each other down. And then 3 weeks later, they come back and go, I hate this girl. She should die in a hole. Do not put me in her group. I have to redo all the groups and pull them out. 2 weeks later, they come back and be like, we love each other. Put us back in the center. I'm like, I'm going to spring them. So I've learned I have to wait till the last second for all the drama to settle. Then I can start figuring out groups. If you can find a way to get rid of teenage drama, we can do it sooner. But 25 years of teaching, it ain't going anywhere. Is the food good? Yeah, and it's unlimited. You have pretty much as much food as you want while it's there. They do designated meals, so it's not like a restaurant where you order. It's more like a really, really big family. Like we'll do like hamburgers one night, or hot dogs, or chicken sandwiches, or pasta, and they just bring out a giant thing of it to your table, and you eat as much as you want. If you need more, they bring out more to you. And so you have, and for lunch and dinner, they even have dessert. They'll bring out cookies, brownies, ice cream sandwiches, and stuff like that. Dessert is not as much as you can eat unless you have kids. Now, there's always kids at your table who are like, I don't want that. And you're like, and you just go ahead and Pac-Man that thing down, and that's fine with you there. If you are a vegetarian, you're in luck. We're in the woods. You're allowed behind where the meal hall is. You go out there and there's trees, and you get to pick whatever. Kidding. They have salad bars at every meal there. It's just fun to poke fun at vegetarian kids. And so you're more than welcome to go, and they have the salad bar. They also have like at breakfast. They have like cereal with actual sugar on it and stuff like that, like Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks. They also have real food like pancakes and bacon and stuff like that. And so it depends on you guys. Like, I need sugar. And other people are like, I like real food. And you get your choice on that one. They also have like a yogurt bar. So food is sometimes some kids are picky and they're like, I only eat things that are great or whatever. It's the picketarians, because you're picky, not that picky. But picky food eaters, then you might be out of luck. But as long as you don't mind eating food, you should be good to go.
Huh?
Are the cabins nice?
Me?
So this is sort of what your cabin's going to look like. You're going to have a whole bunch of double beds in there. Those right there, those are called electrical outlets, so you don't have to freak out about that.
You can stick a fork in it.
You can stick a fork in it, so that's why we give you plastic
I've done that
forks.
before. Yummy.
The size of it is, if you put like a wall down the middle of my room, like that would be the size of your cabin. You're going to have 14 kids in your 14 people. One of them's going to be an adult, and one of them's going to be like a high school kid. But you're going to have 14 people in your cabin. There is indoor plumbing. You get to have like a normal toilet and a normal shower and a normal bathroom, and they even have mirrors and sinks so girls can be all pretty. And so all of that stuff will be in there. You see, you only get a mattress, so you're going to have to bring like a sleeping bag and a pillow, unless you just want to like grab a pile of leaves and curl up into it. But that's how it's going to be as far as the actual cabin is. But cabins are nice.
You bring twin beds.
If you take medicine, we take the medicine with you. There's a day coming up where your parents bring the medicine in and drop it off. So if you're afraid that you're like, I need my med, then we'll hook you up and you'll be fine with your meds. We have the rec time, which is when you get to run around. There's rec time every day where you get to run around with your friends and your counselors. Plus, most of the day is rec time. Like even when you're learning, you're running around the woods with your friends. And I'm like, look over there, there's a bear. And so you're just like running around and stuff like that. All right. I will cover this more in March, like right before we go. Probably actually that week after spring break, because I know that you guys blink and your minds reset. So we'll wait till we get closer. But like things you're going to bring, like sleeping bag, pillows, clothes, like this is all on that packing list on the website. This one. Y'all smell the stinky 7th graders we have here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stinky after 45 minutes of PE. Now imagine 8 hours hiking in the sun. That level of baking. So yeah, you're going to want to bring deodorant, or we're just going to spray you as you walk by. So you're going to need to bring deodorant of some kind. Dress code applies. You're going to have, so you're only packing 2.5 days. Your actual packing of clothes, looking at the top of your desk, do you see the small end at the top? Put your arms so they make like a little line. That's how big your backpack is. That middle area is how much you are bringing,
No way.
and you're packing all of your stuff in there.
My backpack is
If
no, my
not,
backpack expands.
we're tying a string to it, and it goes behind a bus and just flops. There's only a little minute amount of room to go on there. You're only there 2 days. You're wearing the first day's clothes on your body, so it shouldn't be an issue. Those of you freaking out, it's okay. There's a phrase. It's suck it up. Things you cannot bring with you. You cannot bring soft drinks. Now, you can bring snacks. If you're like, I can't live without Takis. You can bring Takis. You can bring your sour gummy worms. Food is fine. The reason being is in the cabins, if you spill a drink, it brings in bugs because we can't clean it easily. But if you spill your Takis, there's a broom, and we go shuck, 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 and it's outside, and now the possums can eat out there. If you spill your drink and there's Mountain Dew all over the floor, now all of a sudden the bugs are like, yeah, and they come running in. So that's why no drinks, but chips and stuff like that, I don't care. That's fine. You cannot bring a knife, even if you're a Boy Scout, and you're like, what am I gonna do? The Indiana brown bear. But if you see the Indiana brown bear while you're in the woods and you pull out your knife, the bear laughs at you. The way that you defend yourself from the Indiana brown bear is not with a knife. You look at the kid next to you and you go, boom, and then you run, and then while they're trying to get up, you're like, and that's how you survive the Indiana brown bear. Beyond that, yeah, you should be fine. Or just go bigger.
Bro, no. Alex, you have a lot of food, don't worry.
You cannot bring the school iPad. You are gonna, and we're gonna tell you not to bring your phone.
Why not?
You're gonna bring it anyway.
Yeah, okay.
The reason we tell you is two things. One, the cabins don't lock. So anything you leave in your cabin, other people have access to. So if you leave something expensive there, someone else can take it. So then your thought is, well then I'm just gonna take it with me throughout the entire day. That's great. Except there's these things called creeks that you have to cross all the time. And we have kids fall into that creek. And if your phone is in your pocket and it's not waterproof, and all of a sudden it gets soaked, we're not responsible for it.
We get the rights.
And then I know your thought is, well, Mr. Broviak, I'm responsible. I'm not going to fall in. Good job. If you're responsible, that means I had to put that special kid in your group. And when that special kid crosses, oh no! And he grabs a kid and pulls them in, and you're like, I'm responsible! And so that's why we tell you with the whole phone thing. So, plus, kids leave them in their pockets, and you guys wear big baggy pockets, and you fall behind your group, and you take off running, and all of a sudden your phone goes, dong, and there's a hill next to you, and the phone goes, pew, pew, pew. So, even though I know you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to tell you. Also, you're in the woods. There's very little reception at all. At meals, you have access to Wi-Fi. In your cabins, you don't because you're in the woods. While you're hiking, you sometimes have it depending on where you are. If you hold your phone up and tilt it at the right angle, sometimes you can get a text message to send. But the rest of the time, it's just dead. And you can use it to take pictures and stuff like that. Questions I've had in the past. While you're at camp Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you do not have to make up any schoolwork. We take care of all of that for you. So when you come back, it's not like a pile of work waiting for you. You're already doing work. You're at school. We don't punish you more for that. There is wake-up time in the morning. One day it's 6:30, and the next day it's 7 a.m. On those 2 days, if you need, and that gives you 45 minutes from the time we wake you up, and yes, the teachers get to come wake you up. I get to wake up the boys. Mrs. Butz and Mrs. Kletch get to go through and wake up the girls. You, don't want to be asleep when I come into your cabin, because then I get to wake you up.
Fun.
You know what I mean? I want that game. You don't want that game. It's a fun
I already wake up at like 4
You are, if you need to wake up earlier than that, you're more than welcome to. Those of you in girl cabins, you might have 12 girls who all need to use the same mirror to try and make yourself look all pretty for the day. And so that's where you're going to want to stagger that wake-up time. But also remember, you're hiking through the woods. No matter what you do with your hair, 10 minutes outside, it's going to go and all over the place because it's Indiana humidity. So it doesn't matter what you do, wear a hat or a really cool braid, and then you should be fine. Beyond that, don't worry about it. There is a bedtime at night. 10:30 one night, 11 o'clock the other night on that one. It is lights out. If you don't lights out and go sleepy, then that's where we get to come haunt you. And yes, sometimes we do walk by and just sit outside the windows to see if we can hear talking in there, so we can come in there and surprise kids because it makes it fun for me. And so things along those lines to help you out. During your rec time, there is the basketball, the gaga that you guys had at Sand Creek. That's where it first started coming from.
That's where a lot
there.
comes.
So we have all of that. Bring extra money because there is snack time there, and you guys can buy stuff like that. Okay, now things I've not covered. Ramos.
What happens if you have insomnia?
Then you don't sleep as much? Yes, that's the definition. Brown.
Jewelry?
Yes, I have like a bunch of rings on.
Okay.
Right, Kelly.
Are we allowed to wear
tank tops?
As long as they're schoolish appropriate, you should be fine on that one. Because you're going to be outside in the sun. It just means if it's a hot day, we're going to put suntan lotion on you so you don't go crispy. But that's fine. King?
Will my shoes work for like hiking and stuff?
Well, when we get that in April, I'll tell you guys more about it. Because you're going to do not wear nice shoes. Your shoes are going to get shredded while you're there. So whatever shoes you're wearing, if you show up with a brand new pair of KDs or Air Force Ones, I laugh. Because we've had a kid do that. He was like, don't grease my shoes. I'm like, dude, you are an idiot. Hi, Summer.
We have school for the rest of the week.
Yes, you do. You come back and you have school on Thursday, Friday.
What the heck?
Welcome to big kid life. Kyle?
You're telling me I'm getting no sleep again this weekend.
One more time.
I'm getting like no sleep again this weekend.
Thanks for keeping me in the loop. I wish you luck on that. Tommy Manosby. I apologize. I think that's the first time I've done it this year. I think. Oh, it's because my brain is in camp mode. And I got to make fun of her so much last year.
Do we get to keep our med?
Yeah, we keep all that for you.
Why?
Because we can't let kids walk around with drugs. They frown on that. Weird. I know. Matei?
Tylenol?
So, are you still gonna be are you gonna stay there when the Globies go?
I'm there the whole week, so you'll have a sub in my class on Thursday, Friday.
What about
If you have questions, come see me or take off.